So good day everyone. So welcome to my analog mixing console tutorial. We're just going to do a 3 comparison on analog mixing console and Midas M32. This is Midas M32 and this is Soundcraft 12 channel analog mixing console. So the first thing we want to look into today is analog mixing console gain versus digital mixing console gain. Analog mixing console gain, the gain you have on analog and the one you have on your digital. What are the difference? What between these two measurements? We want to know if the measurement you have on your analog mixing console and the one you have on the digital board, if they are the same, we just want to know. We will confirm. So the second thing we are going to talk about is the equalizer. The one you have on this analog board, this particular one. I'm using this one as a reference. Don't forget, just a reference. Because on this board, we don't have full band. This EQ, the equalizer I have on this analog are not full band. But we just want to make a reference. How it affects when you are doing your EQ. How does it look like? I will just show you the knob you are turning on this analog, how it look like on digital board. The third thing I'm going to talk about is PFL. This button. It is very, very, very important. You know the useful. If you know the useful, it is very, very important. PFL means pre-fader listening. Pre-fader listening. Before you push up this fader, you can listen to what is happening on the channel strip. I think you understand. Also, you have it on the digital board. You have solo on digital board. PFL and solo are the same. I think you understand. So those are the 3 things we are going to look into. But before we continue on this episode, you must follow me. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you share it with others. And make sure you comment. I want to see your comment on the comment section. And don't forget to share it and follow me. So thank you. So now let's continue. Here now, if you look at this measurement that we have on this analog board, I used to say this. The measurement you have on your analog mixing console and the measurements that you have on the digital are the same. They are all the same. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the preamp, the preamplification, the preamp you have on analog and the one on digital. I didn't say they are the same. They are not the same. Every mixing console have different preamp. Every mixing console have different preamp. I think you understand. So it depends on the manufacturer that produce that console. Now, here now, so let's move quickly to the measurement. So here now, you have minus 15 decibel up to 60 decibel here. Up to 60 decibel. So now, if I'm doing my gain from 5, 10, 20, 25 up to 30, if I put this knob at the middle, that means I'm on 30 decibel all the way to 60 decibel. So that is the measurement you have on the analog. So now let's move to the digital board. Now I'm not going to use this channel because I don't want any distortion on my channel when I'm gaining up, but I will use another channel as a reference. Now bring it to the screen. Now you will see that all the way down to 0 decibel to 0 dB here, you have a 0. Now, if I'm turning up 15, 20, 25, 30, 32, 35 to up to 60 decibel. You see? All the way to 60. They are the same measurements. The same 60 you have here. The same 60 that you have here. If I tell you, hey, my guy, please, can you increase my gain up to 20 decibel on this analog board? How will you take the measurements? Now, let me show you how to take the measurement. Now, here you have 5. If you move up, you have 10. Here you have 15. Now, if you move up to this level, here you have 20 decibel. If you move up again, you have 25, all the way to the middle. That is where you have 30 decibel. So the gauge on this guy and the one on this digital board, the gauge are the same. But in terms of preamp, they are different. I think you understand. So the second thing, number 2, the second thing we want to look into is equalizer, the equalization. The equalization. If you are still among those people who are still turning down all their EQ all the way down like this when they want to start doing their sound check, you are getting it wrong. Because your EQ, you must not turn your EQ down. This EQ must not be turned down. You must put everything at 0 dB. Look at the middle, you have 0 dB. So you must put everything at 0 dB. Everything must be at the middle. I think you understand. So how the EQ, this is 0 dB. Let's see how it look like on a digital board. Now, see now. You can see you have a 0 dB at the middle here. Look at this yellow line. These are the level of my EQ. You see the yellow line? It means no addition and no subtraction. Equal to what you are seeing on this analog board. You see, everything is on flat frequency. Now, the next thing I want to show you, look at this number here from minus 15 dB all the way to plus 15 decibel. This is the subtraction and this is the addition, minus and plus. Now, the same thing, you see, you have minus 15 dB on this guy. You also have plus 15 dB. Now, if I'm boosting up my high frequency up the way to plus 6 decibel. Now, this is 6 decibel. Now, let's look how this 6 decibel will look like on this digital board. Now, let's say this is my high now. Let me boost my high. 6 decibel. Now, this is 6 decibel at 14K. You see? This is 6 decibel. This is how it looks like. Because this guy is semi-parametric, everything on this guy has already been fixed. I think you understand. But on this guy has what we call is flexibility. I can decide to move this frequency down all the way down to 20 hertz. I can move it around. I can play around with this frequency. Anywhere I want this frequency, any area I want this high frequency to affect on this spectrum, on this frequency spectrum, I can make it to happen because this guy has a flexibility, because that is why it's called a parametric EQ. But this guy is called semi-parametric. Everything on this guy has already been fixed. Now, let's move to the high mid, to the mid frequency. Now, on analog mixing console, the mid frequency, central frequency allow frequency, allow you to move around. Now, let's say this is my mid frequency now. Let's say I'm cutting down all the way down to minus 9 decibel. And this minus 9 decibel, if you look at this diagram, you see that this guy is connected to this guy. That means they are working together. Now, I'm on 750 hertz now. This guy is on 750 hertz. Now, oh yeah, let's move to that 750 hertz. Now, this is my mid. Let's say I cut it down. Minus 9 dB. Minus 9 dB. I'm coming. Yes. This is the gauge of that minus 9 dB. Now, this guy is on 1.97 kilohertz. That is 1,907 hertz. Kilohertz. Now, I want to, because this guy is on 750. Let's say I want to copy the EQ that is on this guy to this guy. Now, what I will do is, now the frequency of this guy, what I cut here is around 750 hertz. This is around 750 hertz, and I want this guy to affect that area. What I will do, I will use my frequency knob here to move. Bring it to the screen. You will see that it's moving to 750 hertz. This is it on the screen. What I did here, what I just did here is what is happening here. But there are some other mixing console where you have frequency, you also have Q or width. Width means the amount of the area that you want the frequency to affect. Now, this is the width we are talking about on the frequency spectrum. So, if I want it tiny, if I want it to affect a tiny area on the spectrum or a wide area on the spectrum, it now depends on the reference I have and what I want to achieve. I think you understand. So the third thing I want to move to now is the PFL. I think you understand. To the PFL. Now, this is PFL. It's called prefader listening. This feature will allow you to see what is going on this channel strip before moving up your fader, before sending it out to your PA. This guy will allow you to see it. If you are using headphone, it will allow you to use your hearing mechanism or your visual sense. It will allow you to use it. So immediately you apply this PFL and you start talking to the mic, or you have a musician to be playing. Immediately you apply the PFL, you will see this meter will start showing. Now, for you to get a good signal, when you are doing the gain structure, make sure your meter is not above this first yellow light. That is where your signal comes in. This is 0 dB. This is your starting point. Where what comes in, that is what is going out. I think you understand. So once your signal is below this area, you know that the signal is very low, is weak. Once it gets to this area, make sure the signal is not above this area. When you press the PFL, when you apply this PFL, make sure the signal is not above the first yellow line. Once it gets up all the way to red, that means it's danger. You know what red means. We all know what yellow means. We all know what green means. I think you understand. So now let's make a comparison. This solo, let's see how it looks like. You will see that immediately I apply this solo button here. Now, this guy is showing me, you see the solo light is showing me the amount of the signal that is coming in through this my mic. You see, check 1 2, check 1 2. You see, so That's just the work. So if I pull down my fader now, I will still have these solo lights. It's showing me the amount of the energy that I have on my channel. So that is what I just said I should show you. So in case you find this video interesting, don't forget to follow and share with others. Thank you very much, and I will see you some other time. God bless.